Welcome to Let's Fucking Chat. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Alex. Let's talk about some stuff.
All right. So, Alex.
So how was your week?
This has been it's been an adventure. I will say that. It's been good. I'm going to just quickly show you what my mouth looks like. But yeah, I got my braces last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You freaking liar. It only took about so I got there at 9 o'clock and I left, I think, around 10:50. Maybe it was even 9:50. So it didn't take that long, but these are my... I look like total shit. These are my top braces.
You don't look bad at all.
So I'm loving it. Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty chill. In fact, for some reason, they look like what... If somebody described me to you... described you to me, I would probably... those braces would make sense in my head. Like they look like they
okay.
Yeah, they don't look bad on you, I guess I can say.
Thank
say
you.
That, yeah.
I don't look like total shit with them.
Yeah, you do not look like shit with them, no.
Thank you. That's good to know. From an outsider's perspective, I love my husband. He's like, you're still beautiful regardless. And I'm like, you're just saying
I'm not
that
gonna
because you love me. But it's like, dang, dude, my mouth, the feeling of these braces with my top lip feels uncomfortable. I feel like talking to you now, I just feel like I have a lisp and I can obviously feel the metals and it's fucking up how I'm talking, really, in a way. And there's so much food in my mouth after I eat. I feel like every time I finish eating, I just swish a cup of water in my mouth, and it's half of the food was in my gums, and my teeth hurt right now. And that's all I have to say about this week. That's pretty much it. It's just getting used to having, like you said, metal is literally on my mouth. Also, the worst part of it was only really when they put the adhesive on my teeth. That was the most disgusting thing I have ever had in my mouth. When it would just sit in my mouth and I could just taste it, and I'd be mentally lady, please suck this shit out of my mouth. I'm going to gag. And then probably when they put the metal on and then she had to clip the excess off, I was like, oh my god, are my teeth going to just collapse with every little cut she does with the metal? But I'd say other than that, this week has been really good. The weather here is cold. We had tornado warnings the other day, so that was interesting. College is going great. I'm thinking it of as we're almost to April. This week coming up is the official, quote unquote official, last week of March, so I'm very excited to get to April because then class is almost over and I can take a breather. So what about your week?
On my end, it's been just basically kind of a blurry week. We got a new project at work at the beginning of this month, so it's been really mushed together because of that project. It's been taking a lot of time from me, and so I don't think anything has particularly happened good. I mean, I think last week I talked about the life insurance crap, I think.
Yes.
And so the blood test came back. Everything was pretty good. For some reason, the test showed that I had nicotine in my system at some point.
Oh,
and
Alex,
I don't smoke at all.
Chain smoking, maybe?
So the only thought that I thought about was whenever my friend is around, I'll hit his nicotine vape, but he's not around ever.
That's it though.
But he's not around ever. I think the last time he had been around with his nicotine vape was December.
What?
Yeah.
And they still caught that in your blood?
Exactly.
Holy shit.
I doubt that, right? I think that I'm just forgetting a time in which I did do something. But it's so it's so rare for me to intake any nicotine at all that I'm just bro,
That's a lie. Test me again.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just like, but I'm not like
Huh.
concerned about anything or whatever, because it's like I didn't lie or anything like that.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, I hit like a nicotine vape once in a blue moon.
I used to
Huh.
actually do a lot of like vaping a long time ago.
Wow.
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was never like addicted or anything like that to it. In fact, I would always test myself by like literally like stopping it whenever I felt like I like to play around with it a little bit too much. I decided, I was like, okay, I'll just put it down for about a week, and I'll just show myself that like I don't need it. And usually once I put it down for like a week, I won't touch it for like another like month or two, and then I come back to it, and then I would do it. So yeah, I was always very like, and in fact that's the reason why I don't do it today. It's just simply because I had put it down and I just haven't felt the need to pick it back up at all.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Vaping's lame as fuck.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. I think that was in 2019, the last time that I had ever like consistently used a nicotine vape.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I mean, I was never like it was never like addicted or anything like that, and
Yeah.
it's not really much of a net negative like thing. Like, it doesn't really help my life or destroy my life doing that. It was just like a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe that like
phase.
Yeah. Like, the problem with cigarettes isn't about the nicotine, it's about the burning and the carcinogens and shit like that. Like, of course, the nicotine helps you get addicted to the cigarettes to continuously, you know, smoke it and get all that crap. But nicotine, the only problem with nicotine is that it's addictive. So if you're not addicted to it, I don't really see a reason to care.
True.
Yeah. So, yeah, I stopped it. So that basically, that was just me. That was all to say. Like, I don't think it was like necessarily like a thing to be celebrated, but yeah, they found traces, and I was like, fuck you, that's bullshit.
You're like, this is a goddamn lie.
Surprisingly, they didn't try to check any like marijuana stuff. Because that, I would proudly say, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like because marijuana is so new, like, no one really knows the true, like, effects that it has for, like, long-term use. But, like, for the most part, it's not as bad as, like, cigarettes. So they're probably just like, marijuana. I'm sure one day we'll just have dispensaries everywhere and people will be fine with it.
Something my brother said, he works in life insurance. One thing that he told me, he was like, oh, maybe they mix the two together. Like, whenever they say like tobacco nicotine products, they also mean weed. And I'm like, if that's the case, then they should ask those questions a little bit differently, because like, I have no reason to hide that I smoke weed. But like, I mean,
nicotine's like really different.
Yeah, I have no reason to lie about like the nicotine, but I'm just saying, like, ask me about weed as well, because like the different ways of intaking weed as well is different, because you can also be an eater, a person who likes to ingest nicotine into like through your mouth and stuff, which has no like bad effects at all, right? So I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. That's
and other than that, this week I've just been like noticing how many projects I have under my belt, and how many, like, I need to finish so many fucking projects, because like I can no longer like focus on a single project at a time right now, just because of how many different side projects I have. So I'm looking to like start finishing them all up, so I don't have any obligations, so that I can actually like do like a single project that I want to do. So like, of course, I have the music project, which is just learning music, creating more music. But the problem is that I can't really focus a lot on music all the time, because I have some software development projects. Some software development projects in my business to run as well. So it kind of makes that a little bit hard. And as well, I also have a YouTube channel, and I also stream as well. So like, all of those are projects that I'm working on, and so I have to be able to spread like the amount of time that I have with them.
Yeah.
But then I have also like other like programming side projects that I'm obligated to other people for, and so that's what I'm looking to finish up, because I want to try kind of like going super ham into either music, streaming, or the YouTube channel, and like the other ones like moving my like my work on them to like minimal, right? Just because I want to see. I know that I'm the type of person that can do anything that he puts his mind to. So I know that if I were to actually like go like completely focused on one of those projects, I'd blow it out of the park. But I just want to make sure like all the other projects are also being like brought up as much as possible as well.
Yes, definitely. You have a lot of prioritizing to do and knocking some things out before you can start new projects.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a very big problem with like creating new projects. My brain is very, very creative. I'm always thinking about new things. I'm always thinking about how to better like anything that I see. Everything can be optimized, and I'm always figuring out how I will and how I would optimize those things. So there's always projects that are popping into my head, and I always have to like write them down and say, okay, don't work on this now, work on this later. Don't work on this now, work on this later. But the ones that I'm working on now are the ones that fell through the cracks. So yeah,
something nice to work on, as
it's so hard.
Almost begin a new month, and I guess leading into like things we can better ourselves with. Alex, you picked the topic of this episode. Should we just deep dive into that, since we're pretty much spot on to talking about it? All right, so our topic for this episode is he picked it, and it's, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And I think since you asked, or you came up with the topic, you should, of course, answer first.
Okay, I answer first.
Yeah.
All right. If I could change one thing about myself, what would it be? I guess like if I had to choose, I feel like the one thing that I might have to change is, and this kind of sounds this sounds very like kind of like a backhand compliment. I don't know if that's the term for it, but I'd like to change how nice I am. Like I think that a lot of the things that I want to do in the future requires me to be a little bit more a little bit less nice than what I am. And unfortunately, like the amount of like less nice that I'd have to be, I feel very uncomfortable with now. So if I had to choose, like I'd choose to be a little bit more like a little bit more stern and less lenient, and less like passive. Give myself a little bit more like more like aggressiveness. Because like, so I
like
told you
when
that
to say no.
Yeah, when to say, well, okay, so it's very, very like, so here's the thing. I'm a streamer. I'm extremely low. Like I average like 2 viewers. Like that's it. Like I'm fucking trash basically. I enjoy it, and I don't like stream necessarily to get more viewers. I do want to get affiliate because I think that'd be really cool. But other than that, I don't really like stream for any particular reason. So because of that, because I would like it if my stream were to, garner more viewers. I do want to do things to help it, but then there are things like constantly putting in like chat, and like I play League sometimes. So something that you can do is you could, at the very end of the game, you can put your link there and tell everybody to go watch your stream or whatever. In my head, that feels too like self-imposing.
Yeah,
exactly. And so like my head is like, oh, don't do that. But in reality, that's how you get your name out there. That's obviously probably a really good way to do it. Yeah, self-promotion. But self-promotion to me feels like, in a way, it feels self-serving. And I feel like if I'm doing anything that's completely and only self-serving, like it and putting other people and making other people like work around that I don't like that. I like to, if I'm doing something to work on myself, I'm doing it, right? No one else is doing it to work on me unless like they want to specifically. I'm not going to impose on people to say, hey, make my life better. I'm only going to be the one who I want to be the one who makes my life better. So in this scenario, me putting my link out there and having other people have to click the link to make my life better, in my head, that doesn't feel good. It feels like I'm like, again, I'm imposing on them and stuff like that. So I think of that. I would wish that I would be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit less passive. But
I don't think it's like aggressive, like in the way like your streaming example. I think it's more of like realizing maybe on like your own personal hobbies chart how important streaming is to you. Like, let's say like you were all about like the numbers and you wanted more than 2 views, like then I would recommend that you do just drop that link, even if it does feel like self-serving, because if that was like your main goal and you're like, Kelsey, in this podcast, like I just want to be a streamer, I want like tens of thousands of views, and I'd be like, Alex, you have to self-promote yourself. You have to hoe yourself out like an Instagram model, because then nobody will ever see anything. And that's weirdly how you just make network connections online, which I think is an interesting thing. Like, we're networking online to self-promote ourselves or our business or our hobbies. Like, that's why I try and run our Instagram, so we can like promote our our podcast to people, because like I like doing this as a fun hobby, but like I think it would just be so cool to just like see our little let's effing chat community grow. So I don't think you should look at it like that, but if that's not one of your like main focus hobbies, and just like have fun with it, do what you're doing now. But if it was the other way around, like I said, like then I'd be like, dude, you gotta like throw in that link once in a while, you know?
Well, again, it is something that like I would like to happen. So like, yeah, it's like one of those. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not. This isn't something that I'm going to put at the forefront of what I consider like my future like thing, right? Like streaming. But it's something that would be cool for it to be there. So I don't want to make it like it's like music per se. Like right now, I want most of my work to be put in me working on music and learning how to do music. So I wouldn't put that same amount of time into the stream, nor do I want to. But at the same time, if the stream could go great as well as my music, that would be optimal. That would be the best thing, you know, to happen. So I do need to get a little bit better at like putting the links in. That's the reason why I really respect what you do with Let's Effing Chat, because you're really good at like actually like being more involved with like communities and different things like that make people want to join and ask to like, you know, interact with you and stuff like that. And that's something that I'm very, very bad at. It's because I always feel like it's like it's probably bad. Like, I'm also a part of this the streamers community, and she's a very small streamer, and I basically just help with her technical stuff. But she has a fairly like a handful size, like a very small size community, but it is like it's a handful, like it's like 20-30 people, right? So I can easily just tell them like, oh, every single time I stream, hey, come watch my stream, blah blah blah. I could always do that. But then I feel like if I were to do that, then it makes people feel like they're being used, and I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to use her at all. Like, I'm not trying to use anybody like that. I'm just trying to help them out and also stream at the same time. So all of this stuff, like even like sometimes like she'll be streaming and I'll like show up and she says, oh, like give them a shout out, and I'm like, I don't really want to shout out, because I feel like I don't want you to feel like you're obligated to do any of this stuff, because I'll just feel bad and stuff like that. So
okay. 18 minutes more.
I need to like think of that less, because in reality, they probably understand that. Like, she probably understands that like I'm also trying to stream, and that I'm not using her, and I'm not using them or whatever. They probably understand that, but in my head, it just constantly like says no. But what if? Like, I don't want anybody to ever feel like I'm using them or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I think marketing is so weird, especially now through like online communities. It's like not really a sense of using. Like, okay, let's say like the streamer that you helped, like if you were literally like at the end of whatever you do for her, just like sneakily put in your stream, like at the end, like brought to you by whatever your streaming name is, and I'd be like, yeah, that's a little like unethical, especially if she, the streamer that's paying you to help her, like didn't know you were doing that. But if she, the streamer, was like, hey Alex, just like plug your thing in at the bottom to say like, hey, at Alex, whatever your name is, like help me out, then that's not like self-serving or trying to use her audience. Because what if like 2 people really like your stream, then those 2 people show their 5 friends, or like they want to stream with you, and those 5 random friends have like a stream of 10 other, you know, it's just like a big networking thing. So I wouldn't look at it as if like you're using her audience. I'd be more like, you're putting yourself in front of, let's say it's 30 people that she has, like you're putting yourself in front of 30 new people, and like I said, maybe 2 or even 1 person or 5 just really like your stream. Like you never know what happens. So I wouldn't look at it in such a self-serving, you're like putting yourself onto someone. It's more like you're, in a way, she's introducing you to a new friend almost, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But entirely up to you how you want to play your portfolio of hobbies. But I mean, I just wouldn't look at it like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Like again, I think that it's something that I'd have to grow into, but I'm absolutely gonna try more to feel a little bit more comfortable with doing things like that. But that's a process, and so yeah, that's what I would change. Absolutely, I think that when it comes to myself, like personally, like emotionally, and like my mind and stuff like that, I actually really like me. It's funny.
No, I'm saying change you.
Yeah. Like for the, but I'm just saying, like for the most part, like other than like something like that, everything else about myself, I'm actually like pretty good with. So like the questions like those, I'm usually just like, no, I'm pretty good at everything. Like if there was anything that I would ever change, it'd be physical, and of course like just like looking a little bit better or whatever. That's in reality me. Like what I would probably change if there was anything. Nothing really like emotional or behavioral, like other than that like thing right there. And if that thing were to be fixed, and there would be nothing, I feel like behavioral or anything like that I would ever change, because I think that frankly I'm a pretty cool dude.
That's good to know that you think you're a cool dude. I'll just look at your marketing standpoint a little differently, because marketing's a beast in itself.
Yeah, but it is.
I think that's interesting.
It's strange because I have untapped power with marketing, just because of how... Oh my
god, shut up.
I do. I mean, just like, I would say that because like, I'm not saying that like I know about a lot of marketing strategies, but I'm very good at psychology. I am extremely good at like understanding like how a person will react to something, and to gear that thing or gear some situation so that somebody reacts in a specific way.
Yeah, it's funny that we're talking about marketing. So I'm taking a consumer business class, and this chapter we learned about like the scare tactic or nudging tactic through marketing. And it's interesting that like marketers use that stuff for, it's not persuasive, but it's like, you know, like when you're in a mall and you see that ad for like, or that little thing for a pretzel, and then you see like the Auntie Anne's like literally just a few steps away, and you're like, oh my god, I need that pretzel, because like I just saw somebody else eating it on a poster, but like I'm hungry now too, so like I want this pretzel now. So yeah, marketing's maybe that'll be a good topic to maybe research and talk about. Marketing is crazy.
Marketing is crazy interesting, and honestly I feel like if I were to do anything else, it would always be something with psychology and philosophy, if it could be placed in there. And I feel like either just becoming a psychologist or something with marketing is something that I would totally do. Yeah, I guess we should probably explain, because I don't know how any other way to like transition. But yeah, we had technical difficulties. That's why there's probably a big cut in just a couple seconds ago.
It might sound a little weird. I guess with that, I think the one thing I would change about myself, which is the complete opposite of yours, I'd like to be just a little bit less like pessimistic. And I think that ties into me really just making myself have a bad mindset about people in general. And I think through customer service, my mental state on people has really just been like put through the ringer, dragged through the mud, been picked up, and then just like crushed again. And it's really hard for me to, in a way, like brush people off. And I think also the way I come across to people, I'm very like yes and no, because I understand you have to be nice to people in customer service, yes, but like also I'm also talking to another human who most of the time does not know what's going on, and it's better just to be direct with people and tell them the yes or no answer, but in a polite way, without having to like brush over it or like make it into something more than what it is. And I feel like too, my tone comes off as just very, my customer service voice is very not my real voice. It's so funny, but yeah, so I think just changing like my pessimistic view on life in turn will help my personal growth journey as I enter the real workforce soon. But yeah, maybe just have more of a positive attitude on life, because like I'm still alive, but it's like sometimes I'm just like, kill me right now, or I'll be like, someone could just shoot us right now and then we'd be dead. Dark joke, but I'm just like, that's also a reality. So yeah, well dark, but could happen, you never know.
Yeah, positivity is pretty important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't know. As I feel like I feel like I should be a lot more nihilistic than I am, just because of how my brain works. Like I'm always looking for progression, and the one thing that the average person doesn't like is progression. The average person kind of likes to keep things the same because it's comfortable.
That's
right?
true. That mundane bullshit.
Yeah. So under that, like, guys, right? Like, I feel like I should be more nihilistic than I actually am, because I'm fairly actually optimistic. I know that for the most part, like, everything that's going to end up happening is actually I don't know. I'm just very optimistic. I'm pretty. Okay, I actually don't want to say that I'm optimistic, because I'm not really optimistic. I feel like I'm just like super realistic. Like.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, I'm like a big skeptic, and like a correct skeptic, where you're like, I'm almost always questioning things. Like I said, I think before in the same conversation, that I like to make sure that I like to always figure out the most optimal ways for something to happen. I feel like everything can be made better. So usually when people want the opposite of that, I'm usually just kind of like, all right, dude. But yeah, that's basically where I was going with that.
Nice. Yeah, I
just actually forgot what I was even talking about.
Weird, like, juggling pessimism, optimism, positivityism.
Oh yeah, positive. Yeah, I'm a huge skeptic.
Yeah, life is such a juggling act. It's hard sometimes, but everyone gets through it. You wake up in the morning, that should be your number one blessing, but people forget that and just want to be big fucking dickheads. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't know why, like, it's so interesting how different people are, and that, like, some people just don't care for the well-being of others. It's where it's understandable, yes. And it's technically not a bad, like, that person isn't necessarily a bad person, but it's interesting to see that other people can see life like that, right? So me, whenever I interact with somebody, I always wonder, if I would feel okay, with whatever I'm doing to this person. So if I'm yelling at this person because they fucked up, it's just like, okay, would I want somebody to yell at me if I fucked up? And that's usually the way that I go about things. But other people, they're just like, no, fuck that. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They'll fucking rip you a new fucking asshole, then be like, I want to speak to a manager. And I'm just like, are you fucking serious right now? Because, okay, so one day at work, we were really busy, and this lady, I swear some of these people, they just want to pick a fight with you, and they just want to tell you this and that, and just be super rude, and then you give them the manager, and then they just want to be super rude to the manager, then they find, like, an even higher up person above the manager, and they just want to be super rude, but that person's high up, and then they'll be like, well, you can just leave. you've reached that point of like the chain of command where that manager, not even manager, that higher up is like, you can leave, bye, because your attitude stinks. And like you said, like, how do you wake up one morning and you're just like, oh, would I want to be yelled at if I fucked up? No, so why would I yell at somebody else? In my eyes, they're not fucking up, I'm just the big fuck up. But you know, people are like that, and I always say what comes around goes around, and those people, they'll get it one day. So
yeah,
blessings to them, my child.
See, the problem with that is that, the skeptic in me, I feel like that's fairly optimistic. I'm very like skeptical, where I'm like, people aren't guaranteed to be karma'd. Like, there are bad people in this world who are gonna die happy.
That's true though, like serial killers, if they don't get caught.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there are tons of people who you're gonna look at and you're gonna be like, this person is a horrible person, and they're going to just be perfectly fine throughout their entire life. Yeah. And it kind of sucks. It sucks to know that, like, you know, that would happen, but it's important to know that people who do that, people who are extremely like horrible people, that although they might go through life perfectly and happy, they do risk that, like, you know, what happens in the Me Too stuff, where it's like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm telling everybody now, and now their life's fucked over because they risked this by being like mean or a piece of shit. So in my head, that's like the only thing that I like can say. Like, I've never said like, oh yeah, something's bad is gonna happen to them, obviously, or something like that. Because yeah, unfortunately, as much as I would love karma to exist, it doesn't. And also, that being said, horrible people can live in an extremely happy life, and great people can have horrible lives.
I know, I definitely believe in that. So at my older job, I worked mostly with retired military because I was in charge of like the RV park pretty much, and it's obviously older people. And before I left that job for my now new job, literally the greatest couple I helped last season. Okay, I told the wife, I was like, yeah, my husband's been gone, and I was like on the verge of tears because like I literally hated that job so much, and the only person that like supported me was literally gone. And then like she leaves, and then 5 minutes later she comes back with a piece of cake, and she was like, I thought you needed this. And I was like, I literally was about to cry, and I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. I needed this piece of cake. You are truly a gem. And her husband was so nice too. Like, they had a dog, and like I'd walk around the campground because I would literally be so bored, and we'd talk, and like he's from the same state where my husband is from, and they were just the sweetest couple. Super nice, really down to earth, knew the bullshit I had to put up with, hated it too. She brought me a freaking piece of cake, like almost cried. And then I find out as the new season was coming, as I was like leaving, that they had to cancel because the husband had to get like his knee replaced. And I was like, what the heck? Like, they were so nice. I wish they would have, like, if I knew they were gonna make it, I probably would have stayed to see them and be like, also, I'm leaving this job. You guys are a freaking wonderful couple. I hope you guys live forever and can like RV. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, bad things do happen to good people. So that's my little like anecdote to how I definitely believe in that saying. So
yeah,
I love that couple. She gave me a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part, and I think that kind of like corresponds with like what I mean when I say that like I need to be a little bit more, because unfortunately it seems like, and I don't want it to be the case, and I never want to be in the situation where I have to choose it, but it seems like when you want to go up in the world, it seems like everybody has fucked over someone at some point. And they've like deliberately chosen to fuck this person over so that they can get ahead. It seems like everyone has that skeleton in their closet, and just like it's a matter of time until it happens. And it could be just because of the generation, right? Like the generation that person grew up in. So maybe like the newer generation is less likely to happen. But I don't know how much I can agree that is how how it's gonna happen with, you know, me or, you know, the next person or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a weird game when you want to move up and maybe there's somebody else that wants to move up. I wouldn't necessarily say like you have to like talk ill, but it's also like the people you know within like your said company and who they know and like how they perceive you and if they see like potential within you. I think it's mostly just like creating that network and then being able to go to that said person that you know and just be like, hey, I'm looking to get into a new leadership role. Like, do you know the best way to get into this? Or like, do you know somebody that could help me? I feel like that like, oh, I have to like fuck someone over to get ahead. It's like a thing that's portrayed in just like the media, but in reality it's honestly just networking and really being able to really just like self-promote yourself within your resume, interview,
I don't
cover
know,
letter.
like even people like I don't know if you've heard about the David Dobrik situation. Do you know about that?
The only thing I know is that he apparently sexually harassed someone.
Yeah, so the entire situation is kind of there's a lot of information there, and I for one am fairly neutral in this because I feel like I have a lot of mixed things, mixed ideas in this. But the case is like even somebody like that, like David Dobrik, who I can tell is the type of person who does enjoy making people happy, right? Even they have kind of like I kind of fucked somebody over situation.
Yeah,
like,
to get ahead.
Yeah, to get ahead. Like maybe they weren't like, and of course I don't think that he like specifically was like, oh, let's fuck this person over, because that's not what it seemed like. It seemed like it was just having fun, and it just kind of was like way too much. But it still happened, and he still had to fuck somebody over, and it ended up garnering him a lot because for that like one big thing, right? So yeah, I would of course I wouldn't like it to happen, and of course I wouldn't want to fuck anybody over, but if it's crazy if that is the case, that somebody has to be fucked over for anybody to
get ahead. I feel like I just typed in like what he even did, and wow, apparently aimed a series of controversies including a rape allegation against a 2018 member of the Vlog Squad.
That was dirty dom, not necessarily. So yeah, okay, because this is a podcast, so it probably would be fun conversation. So basically...
But wait, I need to stop you for 1 second. I'm sorry. This kid is only fucking 24.
Yes,
we are the same age as this fucking fuck.
Yep, and... Okay.
What?
There's a lot of information. So again, I stay neutral because like there's a lot here that changes a lot of like where hate should be, right? So like the rape allegation wasn't David, it was his friend, but technically David was in that situation.
Guess he was a part of it.
Yeah, he was a part of it. And then there's a sexual assault allegation as well with one of his friends. And so the sexual assault is basically one of his friends. David Dobrik does these vlog style content. He likes to like have fun with his friends. It very much seems like just friends hanging out, and there's just a video alongside it, right?
Yeah.
So all the fuck shit you and your friends did like when you were younger. That's kind of the antics that they get into, except that they're also pretty rich, so like they can get to a lot more like a lot different like stuff. Antics or whatever. So this specific one is a friend of theirs named don't remember his name, but it's a black guy. It's important because they made like racial jokes like around him, and like he kind of was like the butt of the joke, and he kind of played with it. He played into it, but he apparently said that he didn't like it. He felt uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. But also in this specific situation, they were like, there was this like really cute girl in their group, and they were like, hey, it was like their first time meeting him too. And so they had like a camera in his face. They were like, hey, wouldn't you like to kiss this girl? And then he was like, yeah, absolutely. I would love to kiss this girl. And they were like, all right, well, we're going to blindfold you, and we're going to count to like 3 or whatever, and then you're gonna kiss the girl, and everyone's gonna enjoy. And there was like a shit ton of people in the room, and it was a situation where it was obviously like some fuck shit was about to happen.
Yeah.
And then what happened was he ended up kissing this other guy, because it was a prank, and it was like, oh, you didn't end up kissing her at all. You actually kissed this middle-aged man, because it was their other friend. And so he claimed sexual assault on that, and I have so many mixed emotions with that.
Yeah, that's sloppy, and that whole like David Dobrik versus like Trisha Paytas versus like Jason Nash, whatever.
Jason
all
Nash
that
and
fucking
Trisha,
shit is. Yeah, that shit's just so fucking weird and gross and something that shouldn't have ever been on the internet or entertained.
From what I know, I don't know the Trisha, like the ins and outs of the Trisha situation. And then also for the rape allegation, apparently there was another video that they were filming, and this guy in their group, his name is Dirty Dom. He's known to be very like a man slut, like just slut. I hate that term, man slut, but he's known to hook up with a lot of girls. And so like one of the videos is about like he had like invited like 4 or 5 girls over, and he was like, oh, I kind of want to see if I can get a fivesome going on, and like they were like not really into it in the video, but then like at some point like the video like cut, and it was just like, oh yeah, after some persuasion and some math negotiation, like 1 or 2 girls decided to go back and like have sex with him, it seems.
Yeah.
And then in the video, they're like making jokes around it. They're like laughing around and stuff like that. And that's basically how the video ends, right? So as a viewer, you don't really understand a lot that's going on that like was alleged or alleged. There it is. That was alleged. But apparently they had specifically, it seemed like Dirty Dom had tried to continuously make this girl like drink more alcohol, and at some point she just became like, she blacked out.
Yeah.
And so he basically continued to have sex with her and her friend, and then her friend was like, okay, like I felt like I needed to, like, her friend was basically being like a pal in a way, like to like save her from like being raped. And so he basically raped her friend as well, because her friend was just like, all right, I'm going to finish him off because she obviously cannot do fucking jack shit right now because she's blacked out. Blah blah, that's basically the end of the story. So Dirty Dom, it seems like, is complete human garbage waste. Not really much of a surprise. But yeah, it's situations like those where it's like, now where would I put David himself on these situations? Where would I put him in like the hate like situation? How much should he be like what is it? How much he be reprimanded for these situations?
Like involved or like held accountable.
Yeah, where is his involvement? Yeah. So with the first one, with the prank, I feel like it would be a different situation. And again, I am totally comfortable understanding and saying in my head that like maybe I'm just being very traditional, and that this thought process is in and of itself bad. But in my head, it would be bad if it was opposite sex, right? If like he was like, if the guy, he wanted to kiss the girl, and then like the prank was that he kissed another girl. I felt like that would be a lot more like no than like them pranking him with another guy, because
that's
in my
like his dad.
Yeah. Wait, what?
It's like, yeah, a guy that's like his dad.
Yeah, a very old guy.
Like your dad.
Yeah, exactly. So in my head, it's just like, there's no way that was meant to be sexual, but there's also but it's not 100% the other person's fault either. I feel like it's just like a really shitty situation that two people they decided things that were just really stupid, and it just came out horribly and needed to be talked about. In my head, I don't see David as being this horrible piece of shit for doing that, and I don't see Seth, that's what his name is, I don't see Seth as being like dumb or stupid or anything like that, or that he like just agreed with it, because like in reality he kind of didn't. In a way, you could tell that, like, I mean, you couldn't tell, but you can argue that because there was so many people around and there was cameras going on, that he felt obligated, which is perfectly understandable. And if that were the case, then there would be no fault on him. Like, it just seems like two people made decisions that were just completely really fucking stupid, and it was just like, all right. And it seemed like Seth was just not into that. Like, that was not his type of humor. Personally, I feel like I wouldn't be that taken back by it, because it was obviously a joke and it was obviously not meant in any sexual way. But I don't know. There's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff there. With the Dirty Dom situation, it's very hard to know where David sat in all of this, just because how much did David know, right? I don't know, and I'm not the one type of person to try to like defend this guy, because I mean, I don't really care if he, you know, goes down as like trash or whatever, but I want to know the real story, and I want to get mad at the real person. I don't want to get mad at anybody who's just like, oh, well, he had a camera, so he was responsible for blah, blah, blah. When I think about that, I think about, okay, what would any normal human do in that situation? And then I think about it, and I'm like, okay.
If they didn't have such a big platform, though.
Yeah, I would say that like a normal person may not understand what's going on. Like, again, it's important to know if David knew all this was going on, because if he didn't, like, then of course, then you can't expect him to just like gain knowledge out of nowhere. So why would I be mad at him if he just didn't know? Then nothing would be on him or anything like that. I don't know. That's basically my entire views on that.
Yeah, I really don't give a shit what happens to him or his weird vlog squad. I mean, like, they have tons of money and they don't fucking affect my life, so I don't really care. And cancel culture is such a bullshit thing anyways, but we can talk about that later.
That would be an interesting topic. I think that might be a fun topic. Because
I think it's interesting. Yeah. You really went into the whole David Dobrik rant of whatever the fuck really happened to him off of the topic of name one thing you'd like to change about yourself.
Because it's the idea of having to fuck with somebody over, and it's like,
yeah,
oh, fuck, and then we got into this situation where it's like, did this person...
It just unraveled itself.
Yeah. I want to. I guess I can cut. I want to end off this conversation if you have anything else to add. But
I have nothing else after that.
I'll wrap it up by saying my only thing is that I want to know everything before I make a snap judgment.
That's true.
And I want to get mad.
Does your judgment even matter, though? Let's be real. I said, does your judgment even matter? Like, let's be real.
For me, it does. It matters to me because it shows that I will continue, that I will think about something before I decide whether or not I'm going to like or dislike it. That's something that, like, that's insane to me, how people just like jump on bandwagons of hate.
Me too.
And they don't even know the
full story.
There was one more story that I want to talk about.
Okay, one last story.
Yeah,
Alex.
One last story, and then we'll talk about the movie.
Killing me.
Yeah. Basically, there was this guy, his name was Basherverse, and there was a big like problem a long time ago where like he had a permanent record. On his permanent record, he had a statutory rape allegation. And so like when that came out, everybody started just throwing him out to the wolves. They were like, fuck this motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. And then he came out basically crying, like trying to defend himself. He's like, it was not like that. It's not like that. And then so I ended up clashing with one of his friends on Twitter, and I love Twitter. I do not use Twitter, but like it just got me so mad seeing people just taking like a small fact and just running with it and being like, oh, this person is the shit of the earth or whatever. And I wasn't one to say yourself. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to say like, oh, he obviously didn't do it. Like I was never like that. I'm never the type of person to assume that they are doing great, right? I'm the type of person to say, okay, why would this be the fact? Like, why would this be the case? And and like, what would lead to this happening? That's what I'm thinking. So I ended up clashing with him, like basically saying, hey, I feel like you should wait a little bit longer for more information, because it doesn't seem like all the information is out on this. And then his friend is just like, no, fuck him, he deserves it, like blah blah blah. And he was like, I've literally seen like some things, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I feel like it just seems like there's way more to this than what you're initially thinking. So maybe again,
and there always is.
Yeah. And then it was just like, yeah, at the very end, it was just like, oh, no. The parents, I'm pretty sure this is correct, the parents did not like him at all. And so he was previously dating before the age.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah, so it was one of those situations, the Romeo and Juliet situations. And, like, the parents decided, yeah, fuck you. Like, it was something like that. And it's like, oh. And then all those people were like, oh, yeah, sorry. And it was just like, fuck you, dude. Like, learn to think like a thinker in your own. Stop being a hive mind. it's so bad how people just jump onto hate, and it's just like I just can't. I can't. It's hard for me to hate somebody. It's really hard for me to hate somebody. Okay,
me too. And I know you said you don't like to use Twitter. I'm just gonna go on a small tangent about me selfishly, but like, okay, I love The Bachelor and Bachelorette, like on ABC. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a reality TV show about like these people trying to find love through like a sea of 32 people. But anyways, I love going on Twitter, and like most of the people that are part of this Bachelor Nation are mostly white, okay? Mostly conservatives, and like they recently canceled like their main host, Chris Harrison, and a lot of the people on Twitter were like, no, I love him, blah, 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 blah. And then, this sounds so ridiculous, but like on some popular guy's Twitter, I like subtweeted and I was like, Chris was irrelevant to the franchise. And like 78 people liked it. Like, am I popular now? And yeah, my guilty pleasure is like actually like being like, no, all you people that are on Twitter, just like me, losers, like shut the fuck up. This is a real reality and y'all are just dumb as fuck. Okay,
yeah,
that's all I have to say. That's like my gross guilty pleasure, because like Twitter's just so, oh, it's so fun to me. Like bunch of people just on there being fucking dumb, thinking they can like pop off, and I'm like, in reality you can never say this in front of anyone's face, but it's like at least the stuff I will subtweet about whatever topic they're talking about, like I would literally tell you that to your face. So please.
Oh yeah, I am the type of person that if I say anything behind your back, I will for sure say it in front of your face.
Yeah, like behind the screen.
Yeah, I don't like Twitter at all. The amount of people that want to share their opinions about something that they don't actually know what the fuck they're talking about is
or even
enormous.
They'd say in real life, like, you would never go up to someone and be like, kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just walk away. No, because you're a punk. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to move on before we go into like another one. Tangent.
All right. So we recently, we had a movie. This week's movie was I Care a Lot. And I guess the brief synopsis is, actually, no, you give the brief synopsis because I have no fucking clue.
Okay, I'm just gonna read off of Google, but it's basically a shady legal guardian lands in hot water when she tries to basically con a woman who has ties to a powerful gangster. And like Alex said, it's called I Care a Lot. It is on Netflix. And let's just go ahead and get into the question. So the first question that I would like to ask you was, okay, I'm sorry. Let's just give overall thoughts on the movie, and you can go first.
Okay. I did not like it. I did not
I hate you.
Like it.
I loved it.
I think that it ended horribly.
Oh my god.
I wanted the worst for her, and the fact that she ended up getting like basically the best, and she got like again, spoilers by the way, but yes. She ended up getting shot in the end. Like
that was the ultimate. How did you not like the ending?
She didn't deserve to get shot by that guy. She deserved to get killed by the mobster. Like no, I think so.
No,
I wanted them to kill her. like because like they basically just extorted his mother for no reason. Like there was no good intentions there. It was all just for her benefit. And so she ended up coming out of that positively, basically just showing her that all she has to do is just do that again, and like it should be okay.
I guess, but like I want you to save your thoughts on that because that was like my last question, but okay. we can both agree. Not agree, I'm sorry. We both are opposite ends on the spectrum. I loved it. You're not so much a fan, so let's get into the questions now. Okay. So, has the law system betrayed the older generation through the eyes of this movie, pretty much?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Definitely.
I am not a big fan of so I'm not a big fan of being old, and I'm not a big fan of old people.
What?
Hot take. Just simply because like I don't like how conservative older people are. Again, I love progression, and people who don't like progression, I don't tend to like. And so like older people are usually like the fucking staple of the type of people who are like saying, oh no, let's keep it all the same. And so like I'm not a big fan of that, and I'm also not a big fan of being old because I don't like feeling powerless. So this is also like tie into the fact that basically when you get old, you're fucked.
Powerless.
You're extremely powerless.
If you don't have a powerful support system, aka family.
Yeah, then basically you're fucked. And even if you have like a powerful support system, for the most part, they're making decisions for you, and I don't like that. The fact that I need that when I get older because my brain starts to become mush makes me very, very uncomfortable and unhappy. So like, yeah, I don't. So yes, I think that we kind of fuck over old people just simply because like no one wants anything to do with old people anyway. So what they do is they just stick them in a house and just say, okay, just fuck around until you die. Like, it's really shitty how we deal with old people, but being old sucks too. So it's just really fucked. That's why, like, I do not want to be alive until then. I don't want to be alive until the time that like it requires me to be assisted by other people.
Yeah.
That sounds like hell. Absolute, complete hell.
So a few things about what you said. It's funny that you think most of the older people are conservative, which I would say is true, but depending on where you live, that could change. I'd say my grandmother-in-law, she was born in Tennessee, but now she's lived in Michigan for some time. She's very opposite of conservative. She's definitely a Republican, free spirit, tells it as it is, doesn't give a shit what you think sometimes. Will
Did you
love
say
you
opposite of conservative?
Yeah, she's like very like independent, free thinker, not a fan of Trump at all. Was like just sending us photos of like the like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and like elect them like sign in front of her yard, and is like obviously like she's like super cool and like chill. But yeah, like not most old people are like that, but there's a select few that aren't, and they're like just super nice. And I would agree too, like I am scared of getting old because I don't want to be vulnerable and have to be like looked after, but it is something that will definitely happen to all of us. And even my mom, who like lives alone and she's like only 62, like these scammers really try and get her. Like I tried to help her with her phone, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, Mom, go to T-Mobile, they will help you. And then she calls me back, she's like, I found this thing online, like it wants me to like download the software. And I'm like, Mom, do not download anything to your computer. Get in your fucking car, go to T-Mobile, because they will help you for free. Stop falling for this like fucking bullshit. Like my mom's only 62 and she's already so vulnerable. And I'm like, after watching this movie, I'm like, I just want to like I literally just want to see what's going on her phone so I can like help her. I want to be that actual like anti-software, but like her daughter, because I'm like, do not fuck with my mom because I will fucking kill you. And yeah, this movie definitely opened my eyes to how like the legal system can like fuck over your parents and you'd be super helpless, and it's a shitty feeling. And I didn't like it at all.
I do want to like clarify that like I don't think all old people are conservative, but I think that you're just more likely to be conservative when you get old, because probably when you get old you're like because
you're set in your ways.
I don't think necessarily that you're set in your ways, but you understand that you can die very soon, and like that change can be the complete cause of your death or something along that, or the complete cause of that like misery that you don't want to happen. So I can understand that kind of like that feeling, but I don't know, just having to like the thought of having to call my child because I don't know how to work my computer.
I know, like, I don't like that.
It's horrible. I'm going to figure out the next generation thing. Like I'm just going to be like, oh no, I will know the fucking new phone better than my fucking children. Like
that's true though. That's true. It's It's crazy as you get older. And do you have anything else you want to say to the first question?
No. I'm like you. I tend to get along with old people. Like it's funny because like, ironically, although I don't really like old people much, just because of that, like that conservative thing, that they're more likely, their likeliness of being more conservative than the average person. Now, of course, there are a lot of outliers, and there are a lot of people who aren't. That's perfectly fine. I'm usually okay with those people, but in general, when you're old, you're more likely to be conservative. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with that.
Okay, and with that,
fuck. What was I saying?
Who was your favorite character of this movie?
No, I have to finish it. What was I saying?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I like old people. Some old people are cool. That's basically what I was gonna...
That's everything in life. Some people are cool, some people aren't.
Yeah. Listener, your grandparents are probably okay unless they are.
That's true. Oh god. And again, moving on. Who was your favorite character?
I hated all of them.
Okay. My favorite character would have to be... Remember, it can be anyone. Mine was probably the woman that worked for the mafia that stabbed Marla and was like, oh my god. Marla's like, did you see that? And the woman's like, oh my god, yeah, plop, get in the trunk. Or the gas station guy that didn't give a fuck, didn't question her, was like, yeah, I'll take that $50, use my phone. She's like, can you call a cab? And he's like, yeah, whatever. Just, okay, you're like night shift, like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't have, like, I guess, yeah, I would probably, like, hit one of those, like, hit probably, like, the girl, and it was a blow dart, not a stab.
Okay.
Yeah, she got poisoned, like, or, like, sleep tranquilized. There it is. It was a tranquilizer dart. Yeah, I'd probably go with the same, because everybody else, all the main characters were fucking dumb and stupid, and I hated them.
Okay, that's a good answer to that question. Okay, so... do you think the judge is at fault? Is he a part of the scheme, or is he really just trying to be an honest judge, trying to help the vulnerable, even though he always chooses fucking Marla as the legal guardian?
I think for the most part, it seems like he's kind of oblivious to all of this.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it seems like Marla is the one who's more manipulative and like trying to get him to feel a certain way so that he rules in a specific way. Yeah, I think the judge is perfectly like neutral in this situation.
Yeah, Marla's definitely but as you see in this video, even though you don't know the context of the conversation, she just choked me, so she can't really be by herself. And he's like, oh, she can. Is your neck okay? Just a minor scratch that I just want to show you. Here it is again. Yeah, I agree. He's very just naive and oblivious to the real scheme that is going on. And this might be my favorite question, and I feel like I know your answer. Was the water scene that Marla was in when she was like, when they push her car into the water, was that realistic to survive? The way they portrayed it.
So I think the length of time that it took her to like get out of the car, I don't think was very realistic. But the way in which you would get out of a car, I think, is very similar to that. Like kicking open a window is very hard, especially not being able to breathe while trying to do that. So it's spending so much energy. I feel like in reality, anybody would die from that.
Oh yeah, I would have been dead.
But what you're supposed to do, I'm pretty sure, is that like you're supposed to have one of two things: either like have a belt or like one of those like glass breakers in your car. Mm-hmm. If that were to ever happen. And what you have to do is you have to do one of two things. You have to either the immediate moment that the car like hits the water, you have to either break the window or try to... No, you can't open the door then, but you can break a window then because of the water pressure is outside of the water. But when the car gets submerged into the water, you don't want to do that, and you want to wait until the water completely fills the car, and then I think you can even open the door then, but I know that then you can like break the window and stuff like that. But like that middle timing where the car is submerged but the water hasn't filled up the car yet, you basically just kind of get ready, it seems, because you cannot open the door because of the water pressure against your car, and until like the car gets filled up, and then you can open the door. I think the reason why busting open the window then would probably be bad because probably again the water pressure, when you break up the window, the water will like force its way inside, and then you'll probably get glass in your fucking face.
That's true.
Or you get a belt. If you have a belt, you can wrap it around your feet and then use that to like break open a window.
So I just wanted to look this up because I have like stress dreams of me driving on like the interstate, which I feel like I've talked about before, and like I just fly out of the interstate, off the interstate, and like land into water. But it says open the window as fast as possible before you hit the water, if you can, or immediately afterwards. Stay still with your seatbelt on until the water in the car goes up to your chin. Then take several slow, deep breaths and hold one. Do not try to open the door until the water has stopped flowing in the car, like you said.
Hey.
Yeah. Let's go. Alex is prepared.
Right.
You know the steps.
I know, again, when I say I know so many like random bits of information, like that's it. But I learned that from Mythbusters. They did a thing
Good
for that.
show.
Yeah, really, really dope show.
Yeah, I would have, like I said, not survived that at all.
Yeah,
but
I think
that was an interesting scene for sure, and that was a good scene for them to put in. Not realistic, which I feel like they should have put like a disclaimer, like do not attempt. These are the real steps. Follow this. Type this link in or scan this QR code because you know some people just don't know. But that was a good scene, interesting. And then final thoughts on the ending of this movie.
I think as stated before, I hated it. I don't like it at all. I think it ended the worst possible way because it's not like she learned anything. Like,
yeah,
I think that
true.
She got rewarded for what she did, and I think that what should have happened was that she should have gotten punished for it.
I agree with you on some parts. Like the ending, I don't know. I don't agree with you at all. I take that back. I disagree. I love the ending. Like I said, this is just a karma. Like she fucked over that guy and his poor mom, and he was like, I will like avenge my mom's death. She went through basically, to me, a stream of lessons dealing with the mafia of like, you need to go through some shit to make yourself, and she was already doing really bad stuff anyways, but it's like now she was playing with like the big dogs, and her only goal was to have money, which she was like, I want 10 mil because that will help me buy power through money. And I think partnering with the mafia gave her that money. And then when you see her doing her interview, like the 40 under 40, this is her plateau. This is Marla's mark to make as much money as her heart desires. Gets out of the interview with her now wife. Guy comes back from the beginning that's like, remember me? My mom died in that nursing home and I could not see her because you denied me entrance, because you put her in there when she didn't need to. So now, Marla, that you're at your peak of your success, money, power, I'm gonna kill you. Boom, bye. And yeah, she got some monetary like money, but it's like her true peak of what her only goal in life is: money, fame, power. Done, gone, ended. Never got to see that full growth of it all. So
but
I thought it ended really
that's
good.
exactly where she was.
No, but like I'm saying, like she was in a way there, but like she was only at the peak. Like she hit, maybe not peak, she hit like almost to the point to where like she's at that step now that it's like the next step is just gaining more money. Like,
yeah,
those are all stepping stones for her to get to that goal.
Well, but the thing is, was she not at her goal? She had a shit ton of money. She had power. She had all of it. She had everything. Seemed like she had everything that she was looking for.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, yeah. Like, she did have, like, everything she wanted, but, like, this was just, like, another step for her to get, you know, just, like, even more of it.
Sure. But I think that basically she died when everything in her life was going right. So she died happy. She didn't, there was nothing to regret then. She got punished for nothing. She just died. Like, everything went perfect for her. She got exactly what she wanted, and she got to die as she was getting exactly what she wanted, or during getting what she exactly wanted. So she already had the feeling of having a lot of money. She already had the feeling of a lot of the power, which is all she wanted, and then she dies. So she just gets to end. She ends early, but no one feels anything after death, so it's not like she learned anything.
Yeah, that is true. And then she did allude back to that feeling of, like, when you die, you don't feel anything. Because remember when, like, the little mafia guy, like, has her tied in the chair or whatever? She's like, do you know what it felt like to be in, like, 1806? No, I don't know what death feels like, but I'm ready for it because I won't feel anything.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, The reason I did not like the movie is because the main character got everything she could possibly wanted without being, like, punished for it. And, like,
she had no, she had no, like, jail time, or, like, basically she got no jail time. She got, like, what's that saying? She got away with it, like, scotch-free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, like, she should have died or her friend should have died. I think that her friend should have died 100%, by the way. Like, how did she live that long with blood coming out of her head? With the fucking... with
a concussion and then driving the next fucking day?
Gas being fucking in the fucking... What's his name? I don't know. Yeah, that was... I did not understand how that happened. But
I don't know either.
I think that what should have happened was that she should have died. Like, her friend should have died, not her. And then she would have understood that the things that she's doing is fucking other people over. And just because she doesn't care about herself, but she does care about her.
She cares about others.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, she gets out of there perfectly. She ended up attacking the mafia guy and, like, basically...
making a deal with him.
Yeah, making a deal with him so that they both prosper. And it's just like, okay, so she got everything that she could possibly want. That's fucked. She deserved to die. And I don't think the mafia guy was at all in the wrong.
I really don't think so either, because, like we said before, like, she tried to do her scheme on a older lady and they didn't do their research hard enough. Like, how could you? And, like, he also too, like, just got away with it all. And I don't think he was at fault. Like, he was just trying to vibe on his own, scheme people. Then he got schemed. Then it's like, fuck you. Then fuck you. Let's team up. But then I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna get shot.
You could see that they were trying to allude to him being a horrible person because they were talking about... I think he was a human trafficker. I think that's what the idea
that's
was.
the first scene.
Yeah, and, like, all of that, but
two wrongs.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah, two wrongs don't make it right. Like, yeah, I think that he did the best. Like, again, if anything, he was probably my favorite character because he was the closest to killing her, which I think should have happened. I think that she fucked over somebody's life. If I were in that old person situation, I would be fucking upset. I'd be so fucking
I'd
pissed.
be raging.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, it felt so real. Their ability to kind of, like, to capture that, like, being old but being so fucking powerless because everybody just thinks that you're fucking old. Like,
and crazy.
They captured that perfectly. And so, like yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, that's, yeah, fuck that shit. Like, yeah, she's a horrible person and she deserves to get what she deserves. That's redundant, but in the end she didn't. She got everything that she wanted and she got to die having everything that she wanted, and personally I see that as an absolute win for her. Like, there's nothing bad. Like, she didn't even, like, you have to understand that when you kill somebody, they're done, right? So they don't get to look back at their actions. So wherever they die is like the last.
They just die with it.
Yeah, exactly.
They die with everything they did, good or bad, and no punishment to say you did bad.
So similarly, I don't know what's with you and your movies, but it just fucked over the girl. Like, in the end, they just fucked over the fucking girlfriend, who I think was the least like reprehensible person out of the two.
She was a part of it though. Like, she was literally like looking up these people using her old like police connections.
Yeah, she was using police connections. Yeah. I'm not saying that she was a good person. I'm just saying that she was the least, because all she wanted to do was live. Bad. Yeah, all she wanted to do was to live very comfortably with her significant other. Her significant other wanted money and power, and so like she would do things to help her significant other.
Oh yeah.
Get the money and power, which is bad, but not as bad as the significant other, doing all that shit. I don't know. Like, I was so upset that like she didn't die when she like got thrown in the water. Like she, came out of the fucking concussion or whatever. I'm just like, no. Or
how long is this gonna? How long?
I'm
is she
actually
gonna, like live.
I would actually have just liked for her friend to have died. I think that would have been the best outcome, just because like it would have been like, now she's gonna learn her fucking lesson, and she's gonna say, okay, I didn't know what was at stake. Here, I'm gonna give you your mother back. She could have still been like, oh yeah, just give me like 200,000 or something like that. She could have been something like that, and I think that I would have been okay with that. Personally, I wouldn't have cared. Like, I would have rather her be like, all right, you don't have to give me fucking jack shit. Just give me, like, I'll give you your mother back. But yeah, no, I just could not find myself rooting for her at all, and in the slightest. It was just, she was just a trash person, and yeah, she deserved a lot more than what she got.
Yeah,
because of that,
I will
didn't
agree.
like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the ending, but I think it's interesting how you see the ending, and what would you rate this movie? 1 to 5.
I was thinking about it, and I'd probably give it like maybe like a 3.5 to a 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
like
good.
Although I didn't like the ending, I was on the edge of my seat for so long. I was invested in the story. It started off horribly though. I was so bored. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just like, all right, what the fuck is this dumbass movie? But then it started getting into it, and it was actually very, very interesting. And the feeling that I got of just being so upset as to be like emotionally, like feel emotionally at the end of the movie, like that means that they did what they were expecting to do, which is like make me feel for her, right? Like, she seemed like a human to me. That's why I got upset that she didn't get like fucked over. And that's what a movie's supposed to do. I'm not supposed to be happy at the ending. I'm just supposed to be engaged with the movie, and that's what I was. And so I'll give it a 3.5 to a 4. But it's not a 5 because I was not happy about the end of the movie.
Oh god, you and these fucking endings, I swear.
Yeah, like it's one of the most important parts. It's what are you going to leave your audience feeling? And when it comes to her, the average person, like, is just going, like, I feel like they just feel empty, because like all of that was for nothing. The guy just the random guy who, like, yeah, his family was getting fucked over, and he ended up getting fucked over because his family was getting fucked over. He came out at the end just being like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you out of nowhere. Like, that's so bullshit. Like, that's almost the same as Uncut Gems and the guy and that ending. I technically, because there's no spoilers here, I'm not going to talk about that ending, but it's very similar to that ending.
Oh man, you're ridiculous with these fucking endings and the feeling you get after. But
leave your audience off with feelings, with something to feel, not bullshit ass like, oh, it's a happy ending because we're forced to make it a happy ending. If you wanted me to be mad, or like to come off like, they could have even just not have killed her, and I would have probably scored it higher. Just because it would have just been a very bittersweet ending. But it was just a very dumb ending. Like, it was just so fucking dumb, this one. Such a dumb ending.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well,
what would you rate
I would actually rate it a 4. I really liked it. I love this story. I love the ending. I love that feeling of vulnerability when you get older. So, and it was a like really thrilling movie. So I would say it was really good. 4 out of 5. I'd watch it again. So I liked it, and those were all of my questions. And the most important question now is, what is your movie of the week?
Okay, I have to remember the name. You want to know something super hilarious? I'll tell it after I finish the after I figure out the name of this movie. So the super funny thing, oh my gosh, is that while I was watching the movie today, I was like, oh yeah, I have to remember that I have to come for, like, I have to make
be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be completely honest, I was not prepared. And I hate that, because like I legit was like, oh yeah, remember to do this before. But that's not the case. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue talking as I look at it. I'm so mad that I forgot.
My God.
I'm so mad that I forgot. Holy shit. Netflix. Okay, movies. There it is. Okay. All right. Now we're going to continue. Now you can continue to. Oh, yeah. I actually do. Wait, was this it, though? I actually do have a movie that I thought about before. But I have to make sure that this is it. So my task with all of these like new, like the movies and stuff like that, is I want to watch movies that I've never seen before. So like that's the reason why, like, yeah, I can't really think of it out of nowhere, because I just want to be like forced to watch new movies. And yeah,
okay,
we're going to watch Flavors of Youth.
Okay.
It's called Flavors of Youth, international version on Netflix. It's an anime movie. It's made by the same people who made Kimi no Namae, which is just your name in Japanese. Kimi no Namae is adorable, and we might watch that. I might like have that for a future one, but I've already seen it, so I don't really want to make it my future one. But it is a fucking tearjerker. So
great.
Yeah. But by the way, the movies that I'm almost always trying to hit are those ones that are gonna make you want to feel some type of way. Because I love feeling in movies. Like I love like coming out of a movie feeling bittersweet.
Like, yeah.
I love the bittersweet ending. Like, again, if the ending of the movie that we just finished, I Care a Lot, if the movie was just her dying, right? Like when he killed her, like that would be a very, actually, I don't really think that would be bittersweet. Would that be considered bittersweet? I
think so. Yeah.
It would have been bittersweet if like her girlfriend had died, and she turned it over, and she had like learned her lesson. Like that would have been like bittersweet. I would have been okay with that. But more emotionally taxing, bittersweet is what I like. I like to see if I'm going to cry at the end of the movie, because it's very rare for me to cry. And so when I do get that movie that
feeling,
yeah, that movie that just like, oh, makes you want to cry, then I like it. So Kimi no Namae is one of them. It fucks you up. So Flavors of Youth hopefully is one of them as well.
All right, I'm excited.
Do you have a topic for tomorrow, for next week's? Do we have to? Are we gonna explain? Are we gonna say topics every like out loud, or are they just gonna be like?
I think so. Give a little insight to the next episode. I would say my topic of the week. Damn, you put me on the spot, but I think we should do cancel culture. Cancel. Why did I say cancer? Cancel.
Cancer culture. All right.
These braces have me fucked up. Cancel culture, and like what it is, our opinions on it. Yeah, just cancel culture, not cancer, but we should cancel cancer culture. But cancel culture.
Cancer is canceled.
Oh goodness. Exactly. Yeah, so movie of the week, Flavors of the Youth, or just of Youth?
Oh, Flavors of Youth.
Flavors of Youth, know that. Okay, so Flavors of Youth on Netflix, and then our topic for our next episode is going to be cancel culture. Thanks for joining our conversation.
Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.
And we will see you in the next chat.